Y'all know what day it is. It's Tuesday. It's Snapshot Day. Usually that would be Wednesday, but they changed it to Tuesdays. And boy, do we have a good snapshot. This is some cool stuff, guys. Minecraft Snapshot 25W16A released today on April 15th. So if any of y'all are a little disappointed by your taxes today, you can check out the snapshot and hopefully that'll lift your spirits. As I've been trying to do, I'm going to go through these patch notes as quickly as I can so y'all can get as much info in as little time as possible. First, we have some big lead changes, or I guess leashing changes. If I go over to these pigs and I leash them, you'll see that the lead is actually twice as thick now, which matches Bedrock. If you're used to playing Bedrock Edition, you'll know that this is pretty standard for y'all. But if I take these animals and shift right click another mob, the lead actually transfers over to that mob. So technically, we could have a whole chain of mobs just going around. We got a little pig conga line. This is beautiful. And if you want to get rid of this leash, you just have to shear them. Easy. You can also take off leashes by putting shears in dispensers. If I activate this right here, you'll see that the lead pops right off. Another little change, when you have a mob leashed, it will face you, or at least face where the leash is going when it's being pulled. So you can see the bee is always facing me, but the second I get close enough, it'll start flying and going in its own direction. And if I equip an elytra and start flying, you'll see that the leash just pops right off, instead of what it used to do, where people could leash boats and fly around with their friends. That does not happen anymore, and we will see why in a second. I do want to clarify real quick, if you are just gliding around with an elytra, the leads will not detach. They will only detach as soon as you use a rocket to propel yourself. So if you're just gliding around, you're safe to bring your boats and your mobs around with you. But as soon as you're trying to fly around with rockets, they will detach. There's been a couple changes with leash knots when it comes to fences as well. If there's a mob attached to a fence with a lead and you right click it, instead of just getting rid of it and popping off the leash, it's actually going to give the leash to you and you now have control. And again, you can just releash it onto the fence. This leash, I don't know if in prior versions this was its own entity, but now if you look, I hover over the fence, it has its own hitbox, and I hover over the knot and I punch it, it does count as an entity now and I don't have to right click it to, detach it. That also works with shears. I can shear the knot and it will detach. Now, onto our best friend, the Happy Ghast. There's been some new mechanics with leashing the Happy Ghast and the things that it can carry. Yes, carry. If I get a boat, in this case I'm using the raft, and I leash it, and I go over to the Happy Ghast, and okay, this is going to be a little hard to demonstrate. I need you to come back. If I shift right-click the Happy Ghast, you'll see that the boat attaches to the Happy Ghast with a new little design to it. If you've seen the Minecraft movie, you'll know what this is. The piglins would actually ride on little platforms, just like this on the Ghasts. And I can sit and I can ride it. Oh. Okay, I cannot ride the boat. Okay, the mob can fly. Okay, so I think I got this figured out now. Boats and rafts, anything like that, including boats with chests, I will demonstrate that now, be attached to the Happy Ghast as a new little attachment thing. Things can go in the boats, as you'll see there, just like these bees, and they will fly around with the Happy Ghast. If a player enters the boat, the boat just sinks and it will detach itself from the ghast. If a horse or camel or any sort of thing that doesn't fit in boats gets attached to the Happy Ghast, it will have the same effect as the boats. You can see it's it's just chilling here and it's flying around. When I'm not holding this snowball, it'll do its thing. And these you actually can mount. If I empty my hand and I get on this horse, you'll see that I can mount this horse and just fly around with the Happy Ghast. And I can actually transfer straight to the top of the Happy Ghast too. That's pretty cool. Horses, donkeys, mules, camels, and sniffers are all the things that attach to the Happy Ghast like this. Is this not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life? So now, wait a minute. I could have infinite mounts on this Happy Ghast. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Guys, y'all don't understand what this means. You can have 4 mounts on the Happy Ghast, and I'm assuming infinite things attached to the attachment on the happy ghast. So this horse is able to carry as many things as it can as long as we attach them to one another. So you can have as many friends as you want on this happy ghast. Is this not the most incredible thing ever? Oh, I don't like Quake Pro. Okay, these are the changes to leashes and the happy ghast. Now we're going to go on to elytra changes, and this is very short. In previous snapshots, if I were to be flying around and I right-clicked with my rocket on a block, it would just place the rocket like that and it would do its thing. Now, if I'm flying and I fly past a block and right-click, it will actually launch me in the air with the rocket. Now, of course, if I have the elytra equipped and I'm not flying, it will still place the rocket as normal. But this does prevent you from accidentally placing all of your rockets when you're trying to take off, because I can just fly into a wall, and obviously I'm in creative mode, so this might be a little dangerous, but let's see what this looks like. Okay, yeah, that kind of hurt. But you get the memo. You can just launch your rockets without having to worry about placing them on a block now. Did y'all see that? I just flew right in there. Oh god. Oh god. Oh. In the final change, you'll notice that clouds actually go all the way to the horizon. In previous snapshots, they would kind of end. It looked a little odd, and it still looks kind of trippy, but it looks nice seeing the clouds go all the way. But it is a little bit confusing with your render distance, seeing the clouds go so far and your view distance is pretty short, but I guess that isn't a problem with longer render distance. And there's also a couple bug fixes. When happy ghasts were changing states in water, they would make a little placing sound effect, and that is fixed. You would get kicked for flying if you were on servers with the happy ghast, that is also fixed. And dried ghast can be generated in any facing direction, and they used to only face north. The last bug fix I'll go over, the harnesses for the happy ghasts were not sorted properly. Now you can see they are sorted in the same way dye is sorted in the creative inventory. There are about 50 other bug fixes, and if you want to check them out, I will link the patch notes in the description. But other than that, that's all the snapshot news I've got for y'all this week. Thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see y'all next week with another snapshot. Bye-bye!